What's up, folks? How we doing? Rich, how you doing?
Good, man. Good. How are you?
Good, good. Um, yeah. So we were just talking backstage, and I was like, we got to go because we're talking Pirates, and I'd rather just talk about it on the air. You said DJ
Yeah.
Stewart's off to a good start, but his glove's not the greatest.
Well, DJ Stewart would definitely be a DH slash first baseman on this team.
No.
He's not a good. They're showing him as a right fielder. He's not a good outfielder by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, but if he could play first until Horwitz comes back, which, by the way, a clarification from last week. Horwitz got traded during the offseason from Toronto to Cleveland. Then
Right.
Cleveland traded him to the Pirates. So it
Yeah.
kind of was a two-step deal. But yeah, we were talking. I was thinking it was a three-team deal.
No.
Toronto traded him to Cleveland, and then Cleveland traded him to the Pirates.
Right, because they wanted Luis Ortiz.
Right. But Pirates spring training. We're 3 games in. I realize that's really early, but some guys are starting out strong. Matt Gorski is starting out real strong. He's 3 for 6. All 3 of those hits are homers. Driven in 9 runs. He had 2 in a game the other day.
Jack Zawinski got a homer, baby.
Sawinski got 1 today. Yeah.
With 2 hits. So he had something else than a home run, also.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. If we talked about this before, if Sawinski hits, there's your right fielder. I mean, he plays a good right field, but he's got to hit. If he's going to hit $170, then no, and no. That just doesn't work. He's got to be able to hit 240, at least 230, 240 at minimum, because
he's
he's going to hit 25 bombs.
Yeah, but then he's going to strike out a ton and fly out a lot. That's what you get.
Okay, but in that situation and the way that baseball is at this exact second, I'll take that. If he hits 230, 240, hits 25 bombs, and can be our 6 hitter, okay, I'll take that. Because you're not going to lose anything in the outfield. And to be honest, if you're running Reynolds, Cruz, and Sawinski in the outfield, you got a pretty decent defensive outfield. Reynolds is really good in left. Cruz can cover the ground. We know that. It's just a matter of how well he's going to adapt to center field. If he adapts to center field well, he's going to be a flipping stud, dude.
I agree. You say Izzy's a good enough shortstop, so that's why he's there.
Izzy's won a Gold Glove at short.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, if you play Izzy 160 games at short, which he's a durable guy, you play him 155 to 160 games at short, it's all good, man. It is 100% good. You're going to get really good defense. His range, I mean, okay, does he have Trey Turner's range? No. Does he have good range? Yeah. But he's going to play a solid shortstop. He's not going to screw up plays he shouldn't. And that's half the battle at shortstop. Make the plays you're supposed to make.
Right.
Which is what part of what Cruz's problem was. He wasn't making the plays he was supposed to make, let alone the spectacular plays. Izzy is going to be perfectly fine at shortstop, and he'll hit 240, 250. He's good. To be honest, he's either going to be the 1 or the 9, one or the other in the lineup. That's all he is.
1 or 9.
1 or 9. Because he's not going to hit home runs. I mean, you're probably looking at max he's going to hit 5 home runs. But he's going to get on base. He's got a very good eye.
So the Pirates split today.
Okay. Yeah,
I
they
didn't
got
know that.
the Braves. But the Braves, I watched the game. It was 5-4 in the 8th. And then the guys that are going to be playing single A and double A next week got freaking bombed by the Braves. And that's where they gave up the 5 runs.
Well, my question is, since you watched the game, were the Braves triple A and single A team playing against our single A team?
No. No, it was a split squad. In fact, I can pull up the lineups. Because the Pirates, they led off Sawinski, if that tells you anything. You had Sawinski, York, Palacios, Gonzalez, Triolo, Stewart, Valdez, DeLay, and Bay was your starting lineup.
So we had most of your starters in this game.
A good chunk of them, but the Braves rolled out their starters. Profar, Riley, Olson, Ozuna, Harris, Albies, Kellenic, Arcia, and Trump. Outside of the catcher, every one of those guys is going to be starting opening day. So the Braves brought out the
How long did the Braves guys play?
The Pirates, huh?
How long did they leave the starters in?
Every one of them got at least 3 plate appearances.
That's usually unheard of, but all right. At least it's early anyway.
Yeah. And I mean, the Pirates started Burrows today. He went 2.
I saw that he went.
Shugart went 2. Huh?
I saw that. I saw we started
Shugart
Burrows.
went 2. Yeah, he gave up 2 runs in 2 innings. Shugart went 2. Delbonta Smith went 2/3. Barco went an inning. Yeen went an inning. And then LeBeau and Cam Sanders completely just wet the bed. LeBeau gave up 3, and Cam Sanders gave up 4 in 1/10 of an inning, in 1/3 of an inning.
All right, so Falter started against the Orioles.
Uh-huh.
The Orioles game looks more like our starting 9.
Okay.
They went Pham. They have Davis catching today. I don't know if did Bart catch the other game then?
No, DeLay caught this one.
So they gave Bart the day off.
Possibly, yeah.
Reynolds,
I bet you Izzy was a shortstop. Because Nick Gonzalez was at shortstop in the Braves game.
Well, wait a minute. I don't know if I did this. Yahoo has to be wrong because it says Rodriguez was. Oh, maybe he played center. No, it would say center field, right? CF. It says we had Rodriguez and Davis both catching.
Okay. The only catchers the Pirates had today was DeLay and McKeithen.
We played the Orioles too, right?
Say again?
We played the Orioles in a split game, right?
And then we played the Braves. Yeah. I watched the Braves game.
Right.
I'm talking about the Braves game.
No, I'm talking about the Orioles game.
Yeah.
I was saying how it looked more like an opening day lineup.
Yeah, I mean, really, the only 2 guys that played today that I would have in the opening day lineup are Gonzalez and Triolo. But Gonzalez played short today. Triolo was at third. Was Hayes at third in that other game?
Yeah. And then Servino took over after he got 3 at bats. Servino got 1 bat. They had Frazier at second. They had Izzy at short.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and
It's just
realistically,
looking at these lineup cards, it looks like this game was played 18 innings or something.
well, but you could very easily flip, I think, Gonzalez and Izzy. One could play second, one can play short. You can flip them either way.
Right. I still think Gonzalez gets to start at second, though.
I do too. I think Gonzalez starts at second.
But we
and
both
you're
know
going to
that
see
if
Izzy at
Brian
short.
Hayes is healthy, he's going to be at third base.
But
he had a good bat today.
Healthy.
He had a good bat today, 2 for 2.
Okay. Let's see it last. Let's see him last.
I mean, we also said Suwinski had a home run today, so
I mean, make Hayes your DH. That would be, to be honest, that's probably the ideal situation. Until you can get rid of him, is to let Hayes be your DH. Because he's a liability at third.
And you're putting McCutchen in right?
And Pham.
So you're going to have McCutchen on the bench.
McCutchen's my fourth outfielder. This whole thing rotates around 2 things. One, does Suwinski, well, 3 things. 1, does Suwinski hit? 2, do they really try Davis in right, and what does he do?
Again, another
and
Davis
3,
right
how
field
healthy
project.
is Hayes? And 3, how healthy is Hayes?
Well, he swung a hot bat today, so.
Okay, but a blind squirrel finds a nut too. You know, a sore back, a bad back on a hitter.
We both know it's horrible. I know.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, he may go 2 for 2 today, and then he goes 0 for the next week. We can't have that. This team has got to hit. You can't, as good as the pitching staff is going to be, they're not going to shut everybody out. This team has got to score 4 runs a game. Period. End of story. If they don't average 4 runs a game, they're going to have a losing record.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to write that one down, Richard.
I'm serious. If they average less than 4 runs a game for the season, they're going to have a losing record. Because if the pitching staff has 3s all the way across except for Skeens, and he has a 2, okay, you still gave up 3 runs. You got to score 4 to win. And I don't think I'm asking too much to get 4 runs a game.
No, I mean, it really depends on who's pitching and what team we're playing, because that other team might score 5.
Well, I get that. I'm saying over the course of the season, because 4 runs per game would have put the Pirates at 26th last season. They would have only been ahead of Sacramento, Miami, the Angels, Tampa Bay, and the worst team in the history of Major League Baseball.
Oh, I got to get used to this. I have to get used to this. We now have a team in Sacramento.
That they're not acknowledging in their team name.
What is it? Just Sacramento?
The Athletics Baseball Club. They're not calling themselves Sacramento Athletics.
Why?
I have no idea.
Maybe that's for merchandise purposes?
Dude, I don't know.
All right.
I have no idea.
And does anyone listening know why the A's are doing this?
I mean, I haven't looked too deep into it. Yeah.
I have no idea, Rich.
Okay, they aren't in Sacramento to represent the town. They're there for cost saving, lining the owner's pocket. Direct quote. Um, from September of last year, it's being done because they're sharing the park with the Giants AAA affiliate, the Sacramento River Cats. So there's that too. Um,
Matt Gorski, that's what I was thinking of.
yeah, that's who we were talking about a little while ago. When I was talking about, he's had 3 hits and all 3 of them were bombs. He hit 2 the other day. He hit 1. I don't think it's come down yet. I mean, he just straight smoked that one.
Is he going to make the team?
He was playing like that. He is, which puts
Who
a
doesn't?
whole different spin on things.
Who doesn't make it?
Well, he's a first baseman. He's a first baseman and an outfielder. So you
Two
start
positions of
him.
need right now.
So you start him at first to start the year. Move him to outfield. Move him in the right field. If Sawinski or whoever they put out there is not performing, send him down. Whether it's Davis, Sawinski, whoever.
Well, Sawinski doesn't have any more send downs, does he?
Then release him. If he signed with another team tomorrow, would any Pirates fan lose sleep?
No, but if he signed with a good team and did good, yes, people would lose sleep.
Okay,
And you
but we
know it.
all know
This
if
town is
ifs and
very
buts,
weird.
I understand, but if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. How many guys have gone from one team to another and performed extremely well? Could be a change of scene, but they've also switched teams and continued being mediocre to bad at best.
Seems our
Um,
wide receivers for the Steelers have better at going from really good to not so good.
yeah, there's not been there hasn't been a Steelers player, period, that has left the Steelers through free agency that has been better than when he left. Period. I
Some
mean,
of them
we're
are
talking
better
all the
off
way
though,
back.
Rich. I mean, some of them have won World Super Bowls.
Okay, but it goes back to the thing of are you looking for the money? Are you looking for the ability to play, or are you looking at being on a team that can win a championship? The Steelers can still win championships. I mean, they're not Jacksonville, okay? But the big thing you got to look at is when you get a guy like Juju, okay? What role does Juju play in Kansas City? He's stealing money from the Hunt family. He ain't done a flipping thing in 2 years. Not a damn thing.
Well,
Mike
we'll see if they're
Williams
going to
did
keep
not earn
them.
Mike Williams did not earn $1 when he left here and went to the Jets. Or not Mike Wallace, I'm sorry.
I
When
was
he
going to say
left
that.
here. Mike Wallace, when he left here, did not earn one dime. Antonio Brown did not earn one dime anywhere he went. All he did was cause trouble every place he went. Oakland, Tampa, wherever. Oakland, LA, wherever the hell they were.
Tampa.
He did nothing but cause trouble with every team he went to after he left the Steelers. it's Levon Kirkland, Chad Brown. I mean, this goes back 30 years. Guys leave the Steelers and they think, oh, well, I'm going to go over and play for this team and I'm going to be a Hall of Fame player. Lest we forget one Le'Veon Bell, who was on the side of milk cartons in New York City for 2 years.
Sure was. That was a horrible thing.
Didn't hurt me a drop. You don't want to stay here? Fine. See ya. That's part of why I'm going to hate when Najee signs with the Raiders, because he's going to sign with the Raiders and completely wet the bed next year.
You were saying last night that you were saying Matthew Stafford coming here. I think Brady swooped him in last night. As we were podcasting last night on open mic, Brady was having dinner with him at his house.
Okay.
I didn't know that until after we were off the show. I was like, oh.
I can't see Stafford as a Raider.
I can. I don't know why.
Outside of Brock Bowers, who is he throwing to? Jacoby Myers is not good. This just in.
He was only good because he was their only receiver.
Okay.
Let's leave it at that. But the Raiders do have some cap room. They do have some cap room.
Yeah, they also got Mark Davis running the ship, who is the third craziest owner in the NFL.
Yeah,
in the running for second.
Yeah, but you got a pretty good other owner too there that's going to have more say, and Mark Davis might actually listen to him.
Might.
I said might. I didn't say all the way. I mean, he's a 7-time Super Bowl champion. You might want to listen to that guy.
Yeah, but that would be like if Brady would have bought into the Cowboys. Do you honestly think Jerry would have listened to anything Brady had to say? Not a drop. Not a drop. No, hell no. They got streets in Dallas named after Jerry Jones. One way. They got him in Pittsburgh too, by the way.
Yeah, they also got that winner of the last Super Bowl in Green Bay still has a street. McCarthy Way.
In Dallas?
No, Green Bay.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty cool thing. What do they do? Name the street after the coach?
Yeah, I mean, you win a Super Bowl, you win a World Series, that kind of stuff. I think it's cool when the city does something like that. And let's be honest, the Packers are Green Bay. Period. End of story. The next closest, easy for me to say, major sports team is Milwaukee, the Brewers and the Bucks. That's all they've got in Green Bay is the Packers. That city lives and dies with the green and gold. No question about
that. I don't have a map in front of me, but how far are they apart? Like an hour?
Close to that. Let me double check.
So is it like Foxborough and Boston?
Kinda, yeah. Or like East Rutherford and New York City. It's an hour and 49 minutes from Green Bay to Milwaukee.
Still a decent hike.
So 2 hours.
That's 2 hours.
Decent. That would be like going from Dallas to Austin.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's still, I always thought they were closer.
It's a hike. And I got news for you. The I-43, I've driven it. You think 70 sucks? 43 still 2 lanes both ways.
Speaking of highways, did you see I-40 is going to reopen this weekend?
Yes.
It wasn't supposed to open until 2026.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing what a little bit of money will do to get shit moving. But yeah, I thought that was pretty exciting. That was big news to me today. because that's a pretty important highway from coast to coast.
Oh, I-40 definitely is. No question about it. I mean, it runs right through a lot of major cities. I mean, it runs through Nashville, it runs through Memphis, Little Rock, um, takes you right through Missouri and Oklahoma, Missouri, right there at the line.
Runs through
Yeah,
Texas. Runs through
no,
Texas.
40 doesn't go through. 40 doesn't go through Texas.
Oh, 40's on the top part.
40
40's on
goes
the
no 30 and 20. 30 and 20 go through Texas, and 10. 10, 20,
10.
and
That's what
30 go
I
through
was on.
Texas.
10. 10's the top part, right?
10's the bottom. 30's the high part.
30 then. I was on 30.
Yeah, 10 is what runs basically from San Diego down the coast into El Paso, down into San Antonio, over to Houston, out to New Orleans, and along that way. 20 and 30. 20 and 30, actually, when you get to the Metroplex, are like 15 minutes apart. When you get to DFW, you pass 20, 10 or 15 minutes later, you're at 30. And then they widen back out. 30 heads up toward
I-40.
Texarkana.
I know. I-40 does go through Texas, Rich.
It must be the very, very high part of the panhandle then.
Oh,
Because I've
be
never
it.
known of it doing it.
Coming out of Missouri there and then back into Mexico.
Okay, it does cut through Amarillo. That's because nobody goes up there.
Oh, well, I knew I was on Texas and I knew I was on 40.
Nobody
I was like,
intentionally drives.
I
Nobody
did.
intentionally goes
I
to
did.
Amarillo.
I didn't go to
Well,
Amarillo, but I drove through.
I went to Amarillo intentionally once.
Tell me it was for
State
cows.
softball tournament. State
Sure.
softball tournament was up there.
There's a lot of ranches
520
up there.
teams.
There's a lot of ranches up there.
Oh, yeah. That area. You ever heard the song Miles and Miles of Texas?
No, I probably have. I just can't.
There's a country song that talks about there's miles and miles of Texas. Well, that area of the state is what they're talking about. The Panhandle and then the west area where you get around Midland, Odessa, that kind of thing, where you can go 100 miles and not see a town. You know,
Like I thought it was one of the coolest things. Like you come through the end of 40 in the Texas into New Mexico, and you see the end of the Rockies.
mhm.
That was pretty neat to me. And there was snow on the Rockies, and there was 110 on the ground.
New Mexico is a really interesting state. It really is.
I've only driven through it. I have not really been there. I don't even know if we stopped for gas. I don't even know.
I've been in New Mexico a number of times, mainly because the one
Oh, we
company that
had
I
to have.
used
It's
to
a big
work
state.
for. Well, the one company I used to work for, we had radio stations in Albuquerque. And a couple of times we drove out there, which was hell on wheels. But the rest of the time, even when we flew out there, they've got some really nice areas. They got a place out there called White Sands National Park that's probably 50 miles from the Texas border, south. Awesome place. Awesome place. Um, all sorts of hills and all, that's what the whole deal is, the White Sands. And you've got these sand dunes and all that kind of craziness. And then you can go down the road probably another, I don't know, another 50, 60 miles west, and you're in the national forest. New Mexico's got some really cool stuff. I think it's a very underrated state. I really do.
Gotcha. Yeah, like I said, I only drove through it. So if I stopped at a gas station, that was probably the
Yeah.
extent of my stay in Mexico. New Mexico. Let's rephrase that.
By the way, we're not getting political, but have you noticed that on Google it says Gulf of America?
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's the name of the golf.
But you know, one thing I was looking at too when I was looking at the stats.
We had to change it.
Um,
We had to change it, Rich, so we could drill
well, maybe.
under the Biden EO thing. We couldn't drill in the golf or something, so we had to change the name.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The one thing I do like that I saw on the Pirates stat sheet:
What we got?
2 games, 1 win, 2 innings, 2 hits, 4 strikeouts. Tim Mesa. Hopefully that means he's healthy. Because if he can be that 7th inning guy, and him and Holderman can play patty cake with the 7th and 8th inning, I told you this weeks ago.
You
That
did?
will make a major difference. If Mesa is healthy, the kid can pitch.
Falter
Trick is,
also looked good in his debut today. He pitched against those.
you know how I feel about Falter. I like Falter. Looks like he threw 2 innings, had 3 strikeouts and a walk. I'll take that.
Yeah, 2 innings. I will take that all day long.
With 3 strikeouts and a walk? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take that all day long. Jared
Absolutely.
Jones did the same thing the last time he was on the hill. Gave up 1 hit, 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, 2 innings. Okay.
I mean, we're gonna get
if
Skeens tomorrow. Then we should get Haney tomorrow, right? In one of these games.
Should. Here's the thing I can tell you. If our pitchers have 2 strikeouts to every walk, we're going to win a bunch of games.
We should.
We should win a ton of games. The big thing with it is, if you look at 2024, okay, and look at the team, strikeouts to walks. Now, I am taking Skeens out of this because he was 5-1. Okay, he completely wrecks the curve. Okay,
He's special.
Keller was 3-1. Jones was 3-1. Ortiz was 2-1. Chapman was 2-1. Falter was 2-1. Perez was 2-1. Bednar was 1.5-1. Holderman was 2-1. Nicholas was 1.5-1. Santana was 5-1. Ledzinski was 3-1. Hunter Stratton was 4-1. Quinn Priester was 2.5-1. Jake Woodford was 4-1. Domingo Herman was 1-1. So, I mean, they had a nice stretch there. Actually, I'm going to say they need to be 3-1.
I'm going to make a bold prediction.
Go ahead.
Bednar is going to have his best year.
I've heard he looks great.
Well,
I've heard he lost a lot of weight and all that kind of thing.
I don't care about. I read all that, but you know who? What we lost a guy that could have threatened him for his job. He can finally relax in that role and knowing no one's going to take it.
You talking about Chapman?
Yeah. I'm just saying. There's no pressure on him. I think he's going to have a big year this year. I'm not going to make any. I'm sure we'll do a prediction of what we think is going to happen. That's what we should do. What do we got? 3, 4. We got almost a month before the season, so we'll have to do a prediction show.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can get.
I'll tell you what, though, man. He's sitting out there in free agency. He was with the Rangers last year.
Here we go. Hold on.
He could be a very valuable piece to a team as either an 8th-inning guy or a closer, that if Bednar wets the bed, that the Pirates could go after him and get him for next to nothing. That's David Robertson.
Wait, he was a Yankee guy.
He was a Yankee. He was a closer for the Yankees for several years. he and Kirby Yates kind of went back and forth last year until Yates took over the closing spot and Robertson was in the 8th for the Rangers. He can still close. And I'll bet you the Pirates could get him for a song. I mean, he's sitting out there right now doing nothing. From what I gather, he's helping coach his former high school team.
Well, at least he's doing something.
True, but what I'm saying is you could get now, granted, he's 39 years old, but still, if the guy throws strikes, you got to give him that. And that to me is my biggest thing, man. I need this team to throw freaking strikes. Period. End of discussion. We got to throw strikes. Walks will kill you. I don't know how many times it has been proven, especially leadoff walks, will eat your lunch. And it's almost like turnovers in football. I would have to
Could it
look.
be because Robertson's projected to get 11.5?
I don't think that anybody's going to pay him 11 million. Could they get him for what they paid Haney? Probably. 1 year, 5 million. Yeah.
Yeah, but would he
But we
take
got to
it?
throw. I would be really curious, and I don't know if it's out there. I'd have to do some digging.
What?
The record for teams that win the walk battle. Like in football, you win the turnover battle and you win like 90-something% of the time.
Yeah.
I would be curious to see when teams win the walk battle in Major League Baseball, what the record of the teams are.
I am not sure. It got to be
I'd be
what?
I'd be willing to bet you it's pretty substantial. Maybe like 3-1.
That sounds like a Vegas. That sounds more like a Vegas stat.
Well, I'm saying 75-25. Maybe even 80-20.
Joe Kelly's still sitting out there too.
Yeah. There's a few free agents that are still sitting out there. And you kind of wonder a little bit. I mean, obviously, the biggest names are gone. Bregman was the last one of those to go bye-bye. But you got to figure somebody like, Anthony Rizzo is going to end up somewhere.
I was going to bring that up eventually. The Pirates are actually looking at him. From what I've read earlier today.
Him. He's not hitting that well like he used to, but he's a hell of a defensive first baseman when he's healthy. The problem is he hasn't been healthy the last couple of years. But I mean,
can't why wouldn't you go sign Alex Verdugo and give him a shot? Let him play right. He's 28 years old.
There's two guys that are still sitting out there that are the most surprising to me that they're still out there. Verdugo is one of them. I just cannot understand why he's still out there. And the other one,
Adam
and
Duvall.
I know he turned the Pirates down, is Jose Quintana. The Pirates made him an offer and he turned them down. You can't teach left-handed.
Wait, didn't we have him?
Yeah. Then he went to the Mets. And then he went, I think the last team he was with was the Mets. And yeah, we had him and he pitched well for us.
Would you take a shot at Duvall?
Adam Duvall? No.
Yeah. No.
Nah. I'd go Verdugo first.
Me too. He's 28, younger.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's probably the biggest mystery as far as why is he still out there. there's got to be something somewhere
that we don't know about.
that, yeah, maybe there's an injury that nobody knows about or something like that. But the kid is 29. He was never comfortable in New York. I think that's what the deal was. He went from Boston to New York and was never able to be himself. He just wasn't comfortable.
There's a lot of people that
And
do
his
that.
performance showed it.
New York makes you uncomfortable.
A lot of guys it does. I mean, you get someone like Garrett Cole, he made the transition easy peasy, no problem. Some guys, I mean, I think Jazz Chisholm isn't comfortable. He has not played well since he went over there. But yeah, he's playing for the Yankees. Okay, great. But if you want to be uncomfortable every time you step on that field and every time you put that uniform on, I couldn't do that. I couldn't knowingly do that to myself. And that's the thing. He did it to himself. He was a free agent. Verdugo was a free agent and did this to himself. So I mean, when you sit there and you look at it, how would Verdugo look in black and gold? I think he'd look great in right field.
I don't see why you wouldn't throw. What is it? He only wants what? 8,000, 8 million? Not even.
I was gonna say, I think it's like 7 or 8 million.
He made 8.7 last year.
Okay,
It's got to be something in that range.
Would I? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if you offered him 8.
I mean, if you're gonna throw that kind of money at Rizzo, why wouldn't you throw it at Verdugo and be younger?
Well, but they play 2 different positions.
Yeah, but we have a lot of first basemen on this bench. We don't have an outfielder.
Exactly, and I think
And I don't really
say
count. I don't really count Kutch as an outfielder. Maybe a fill-in outfielder, but
Kutch is a 4th outfielder.
I count him as like a fill-in outfielder. I don't even know if I have him as my 4th.
Well, the big thing I
But
look
that's
at
just
is
me,
if
Rick.
you offer,
I think his age is really caught up to him.
it's very possible. I think this is his last year. But if if you went to Verdugo and said, okay, we'll give you 8 mil and you're going to walk in as the starting right fielder unless you lose the job.
And you'll probably be our leadoff guy too.
I think he'd sign the contract and he'd be our leadoff hitter. Yeah.
Or
And
put
you
him
would walk
batting
into
ninth.
a lineup.
Or put him batting
No, no,
ninth so we can spark the bottom.
no. No. Move Izzy to 9.
Well,
Let Verdugo
okay,
hit. Verdugo is built better to be a leadoff guy. Verdugo and Reynolds setting the table for the bigger guns behind him. Great. Let Izzy flip the lineup at 9. I love Izzy as a leadoff hitter. But if you've got a better guy, which Verdugo is,
and who knows, Verdugo would, he might, after dealing with the New York, our crowd's pretty easy.
Well, and I mean, the ability to relax could also increase that performance, And whenever you do that, when you can relax, that helps you increase your performance. Hell, I mean, if the guy hits 270, 280 in the leadoff spot, hits you 15, 20 bombs, scores 80 or 90 runs out of the leadoff spot, I wouldn't be worried about RBI. Get on base and score. Let the other guys drive you in.
Right.
I
think that would be a way better lineup.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you went, and trust me, I'm doing this. Wow. I'm really doing this off the cuff. But if you were able to go Verdugo, Reynolds, Cruz, Bart, I'm going to think positive. Stewart at 5.
All right, for DH, How about we
Stewart
say
is a
Morris?
DH
How
at
about we say?
5.
How about we say Morris makes it
Say what now?
till? How about we say Morris makes it until Horowitz comes back?
Put him 6th. Triolo 7.
Well, I have Gonzalez.
No. Triolo 7, Gonzalez 8, Izzy
Well, I
9.
don't have Trillo in my starting lineup, so
Yeah, I know. You have Hayes hitting 7th.
I do because that's
Or
the way it's
hey,
going to be. And I'm just you know it. They're not going to put the better player in there. They're going to put the player they paid more in there. That's just the way
right,
they
but
do
see,
it.
that's where the big problem comes into play. Hayes is not a 7 hitter.
Right. So
You're
we put
looking
him
at
batting fifth.
if he's got some power, yes.
Maybe
But
8th. And if he hits a good one, let Izzy try and drive him home.
Well, okay, here's this is getting way inside baseball now. The way you construct a major league lineup, okay? And this is from learning from guys like Terry Francona and Bruce Bochy and guys like that, okay? The way you construct a major league lineup, your number one guy gets on base, can steal bases occasionally, makes contact. He doesn't, he's not necessarily Ricky Henderson with hitting a bunch of homers, but he's going to hit a few. Your number 2 guy is your best on base guy because that way, if your leadoff guy doesn't get on, your number 2 guy is going to get on. So your number 3 guy comes up with somebody on base. Your number 3 guy.
You put Hayes third and Cruz fourth.
No, your number 3 guy is your best hitter. Who's the best hitter on this team? It's O'Neill Cruz. No question asked. It's O'Neill Cruz.
Okay.
Number 4 is your best power guy, not named O'Neill Cruz, which is Joey Bart, right?
I would say so.
Number 5, you're starting over at 2. Okay. So you want a guy that's going to get on base, that has some pop, makes contact, that kind of stuff. Okay. So now you're at 5. You put Stewart at 5 or whoever. Okay. Who were you? You were saying,
Well, then I guess in that mind, you'd go keep Brian Hayes batting 6th. And then Gonzalez.
well, no,
7th,
I hit Gorski 6th.
playing first.
Right. I hit Gorski 6th playing first.
Okay.
My number 7 hitter is a guy that doesn't have a lot of speed, has a good stick, some power, and will be able to drive in runs from those guys in the 4, 5, and 6 hole getting on base. Jared Triolo doesn't have a lot of speed. Sorry. Really, neither does Hayes. If you want to put Hayes in that 7 hole, fine. That's fine by me.
But you heard my reasoning
8,
on why it's going to be key Brian Hayes.
I understand, but it shouldn't be.
Right. We both know it shouldn't be. We both know
And when
that,
he
but
wets
it's
the
going
bed
to be.
when he wets the bed the first couple weeks of the season, Shelton's going to be smart enough to put Triolo out there. Or whoever out there, whether it's Gonzalez or Triolo, it doesn't make me any difference.
Okay.
Your 8-hole hitter is Gonzalez. You need another guy that can get on base, has a little bit of pop, but has a good on base percentage. Then your 9-hole hitter, he is your least power. You're going to drive in the fewest runs, but is going to get on base so that you've got somebody there when you flip the lineup. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. So that to me, right this second, as we're sitting here at 8:30 Central Time on February 26th, that's your starting 9 for the Pirates opening day against the Marlins.
If we sign Alex Verdugo.
If you sign Alex Verdugo.
Which we both think would be an awesome idea.
It would be fantastic. If not, I hit Izzy leadoff.
Save it. We're going with the ifs right now. We're not going to go with our what we'd fully do. We'll save that for our lineup. We'll save that for our
Yeah.
roster
No, I'm
card.
just saying for what we have right this second on the field with no Verdugo, you lead Izzy off.
All right.
Keep everything else the same through 8.
Josh playing the Xbox. Oh, that's all right, Josh. We started massive early today.
We started like 10 minutes early.
It was like 8:40.
No.
Rich, we've been
Yeah,
going live for 50
8:40,
minutes.
8:45. Yeah.
We've been going
Yeah.
live for 50 minutes.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
But yeah, that's where we're at. We started early tonight, guys, because Rich is expecting a phone call from his wife. She's driving home by herself, and he wants to be that supportive guy. So I said, let's start early and get the show rolling.
Yeah, doing a
So that's
little
what we
team
did.
building thing with her co-workers, and just what I do. Little less than a month will be our 10-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
March 28th will be 10 years. So that'll be nice big day for us.
You going anywhere?
No. As far as you mean like going, or do you mean like going out
Like,
that night?
well, I mean, I know with your stipulations right now, it's hard for you to really go
Yeah, I mean, we'll
anywhere,
go out to dinner.
unfortunately.
We'll go out to dinner and that kind of thing. Yes, I'll be in good enough shape by then that
Now,
we'll be able to go to dinner.
will you pick a nice expensive steakhouse?
I don't have to.
Because it's the day after date
We
night.
we both love Texas Roadhouse.
Hey,
We love the food
do they
there.
let you throw peanuts on the floor still or no?
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't been to a Texas Roadhouse forever.
But we both love Texas Roadhouse. So, I mean, it's not fancy. It's really good food.
But it's what you like.
Their steaks are great. My wife loves their ribs. And there you go. Go get Cold Stone ice cream afterwards. You ever been to Cold Stone Creamery?
I've been to the one in Penn State.
Okay. We've
And
got one right. Yeah, we got one right here in Waco, and we'll probably go over there for dessert and call it a night. We'll both be working that day. I know it's a Friday, but
will you get the ribeye?
yeah,
Will you get the ribeye or what steak we going with?
I go New York strip.
I've been on a ribeye kick, so
I'm not a huge ribeye guy.
you get so much more for your buck. That's why.
Here's the crazy part with me, okay? I love a good Philly cheesesteak, and I know that's ribeye. I know, like I'm sitting here, it's ribeye. But to order a ribeye steak, to me, there's too much fat to it.
So good.
Give me either a New York strip or a sirloin. I'm bothering no one.
Gotcha.
My question is, Mr. Yankee, how do you like it cooked?
I'm a medium rare guy.
Okay, that's acceptable. I go medium.
I like meat. I had medium the other day.
I go medium simply because if it's a little under, I'm okay. If you go medium rare and it's a little under, nah, I'm not. My dad was that guy. My dad wanted you to drag the steak across the grill.
All right, Rich, hold
flip
on.
it over.
There's the big question.
Well, I mean,
Josh, don't you live right by the steakhouse? Josh, isn't the steakhouse like you could throw a rock from your house?
all I know is, it's really, I like Outback. Don't get me wrong. And if everything was equal and it was just me going, I'm a Ruth's Chris guy. but the closest Ruth's Chris to us is in Dallas, and that's an hour and a half away. And if we're going to drive an hour and a half to go have dinner, we're going to. You ever heard of Papa Do's? Papa Do's is a Cajun place.
I'm trying to
They
think.
have
Whenever I
one
was
in
down there for training, I ate at so many different places.
there's a company called Papa's, and they have Papa Do's, Papacitos, and Papacitos is obviously Mexican. Papa Do's is Cajun. And boy, my wife being from New Orleans, we would, if we're going to drive an hour and a half, we're not going for a steak. We're going to Papa Do's.
Maybe you just changed your
So
mind for a Friday dinner, Rich.
that's possible. I mean, you never know, but I would imagine we're probably going to end up at Roadhouse. And they take care of us over there too, man. I mean, especially with the walker and all that kind of craziness. They literally will take my walker and put it right up against the wall near where the bartenders and waitresses come into the bar area. They'll put it right there. And they basically tell everybody, do not mess with this thing. And nobody does. And nobody trips over it or anything like that because they got a lot of space in between. But yeah, I mean, they treat us great. We usually, when things are normal, we'll go to Roadhouse 2-3 times a month.
Jesus.
It's not that expensive, dude.
I
We
know,
can
but
both go.
I'm
It's
just saying,
crazy.
like,
That's the coolest part. We can both go. I get a steak. She gets ribs. Okay. She gets a
Rich,
thing called a
this is for
Jamaican.
you.
It's possible. Yeah. I mean, we'll see how much time's left. We'll see how much time's left. I can give you a definite it's possible. How's that sound?
I know
But
he's going
yeah,
to
I
be
mean,
dying to talk on Monday after that race on Sunday.
she gets this thing called a Jamaican Cowboy. I get a beer, and it's $50.
Jamaican, is that in the fishbowl? Is that the big fishbowl?
It's not a fishbowl, but it's in a big O thing. I don't even
Is that the
remember what
blue? Is
O
that the
thing.
blue? Is that the blue drink? No.
No, it's orange.
Orange.
Here we go. And this is directly from the Texas Roadhouse recipe book. Pineapple juice, orange juice, margarita mix, peach schnapps, coconut rum, and gold tequila.
Nice.
Yeah. So she gets that. I get a Blue Moon. Tall, of course.
Do you do orange juice or do you do the orange?
The orange.
I do orange juice.
I do the orange and I drop it in the beer. Like when you put a lime in a Corona.
Right.
I drop the orange in the beer.
I request orange juice to actually go in.
Why?
I don't know. I just something I did and I liked it.
You ever had an orange crush?
Yeah. Yeah, we saw it at work.
Oh yeah. When I was on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, it was the first time I had ever had one of those. Oh, them suckers will get you in trouble. I could drink those like drinking lemonade, man. Oh.
Wait, are we talking about the drink or are we talking about like the pop?
No, we're talking about the drink.
Is that orange pop and like a whipped vodka?
This is vodka, triple sec, oranges, lemon lime soda, and a sliced orange. 2 juiced oranges and then 1 sliced orange. It's like the national drink of the Eastern Shore of Maryland. This thing is super good, but it will screw you into the ground if you're not careful. I watched many a person get absolutely obliterated drinking, 4, 5, 6 of those. And it's easy to do. It's one of those mixed drinks that's real easy to just
Right.
you gotta be careful with it.
So
Boy,
you
it's
know
good.
that scene where Matthew McConaughey and DiCaprio are sitting at the bar, and he's like, I want 2 margaritas, or I want 2 of these," and then 7 minutes later, bring us another 2. We
Mhm.
used to do that. We used to do that at Houlihan's because they had like $3 or $4 Long Island iced teas in the 32-ounce jugs. We used to
Ooh.
race on them in a straw. And let me tell you something. We got mighty. That was the first time I ever went blacked out shopping. It was Black Friday, and me and my and
Okay.
me, and me and my sister went shopping. And I said the only way we're doing this is if we get home and we wrap all the gifts and put them under the tree.
Fair enough.
The purpose of that was to be as surprised as they were. But we were done.
Wow. I mean,
That was
I
fun.
like Long Island's, but to chug them like no, 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 no.
That was fun. That was a fun little Christmas because we were like, I have no idea what they got.
We got this place down here called George's, okay? And they're the home of the Big O. The whole thing with their draft beers, they serve them in these Big O glasses. It's like a small fish bowl on a pedestal, okay? It's actually about a beer and a half. It's about 18 ounces when it's all said and done, okay?
I did add a
So
glass to my collection this weekend. We stole
right.
it magically came home with me.
Uh-huh.
Actually, my sister forgot it, and I just never gave it back to her.
Gotcha.
So,
Well,
Christy,
we would chug
if you're listening, I did not steal your mug. All right, go ahead.
we
You
would
would
chug
chug.
those. No, we would chug those. And as the night would go on, the first few, and see, I never get drunk. I'm a smart drinker. If I know I'm going to drink a lot, one of the first things I do is for dinner, it's a big sandwich or a pizza or something like that. So I got something in my stomach to soak all this crap up, right? So, I mean, I've been known in my day, way long ago, to put a case away and not be and still be able to beat your butt throwing darts. Um, with no problem. So I would be, after the first 2 or 3 of these, then you start watching people and they go straight down. You drink it just like normal, right? Except you hold underneath and you go this way. Well, after you get to about the third, fourth, fifth one, then you start seeing the beer kind of trickling out here, down, and then it starts going out and down the shirt. And by the time you get to about the seventh or eighth one, you're just watching people almost miss their mouth. Meantime, I'm just going dang 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 dang.
You also have to remember,
It's no.
folks. Rich is a tall guy.
I'm 7 foot tall at that time. 375, 350, 375.
So you and Andre the
Perfect.
Giant would have been in good competition for drinking beers.
Oh no, shit no.
Andre the
I
Giant could.
talked Tim White, who was Andre the Giant's best friend. He was his handler, all that kind of stuff. We were sitting one night at a show in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and Tim White was also a referee for WWE. I was security that night, taking the wrestlers down to the ring and back. That was when they still did that, right? So I'm sitting in the back and I'm talking with Tim, and I said, okay. And if this came up, I said, okay, the stories are out there that Andre has, really gone on some drinking binges. He said, Rich, I watched Andre on a flight from New York to Chicago, a 2.5 hour flight from New York City to Chicago. He said, I watched Andre drink 48 beers in 2.5 hours. So saying that, no chance in this world. I could, I could
No
do
way.
24 in like a 9 hour period. We're talking 48 in 2.5 hours. And he was not drunk. He told me another story, and if it wouldn't have come from him, I would have thrown the BS meter up. The man has never lied to me as long as I've known him a long time. They had, you get on some of those private jets and they've got the big bottles of liquor and all that, right? He's on Vince McMahon's plane. A flight from LA to St. Louis. 3.5 hour flight, right? He killed a bottle of Jack, a bottle of Jim Beam, a bottle of Cuervo, and a bottle of some sort of gin. Killed all 4 bottles in that one flight. Drank them like a Coke bottle.
I'd be dead.
This guy could drink. He could eat too, but he could drink. A lot of people don't know Andre owned a restaurant in Montreal.
I read that and I forgot all about it until you just said that.
Owned a restaurant in Montreal. But yeah, man, I mean, what I was doing, and I didn't do it all the time, and I'd say 80% of the time I would have a few and call it good and that kind of deal. Every now and then, for whatever reason, I would, but I never one time got where I was, like you were saying, blackout. I never was out of my faculties. I knew when to stop, kind of a thing. I was never out of my faculties, and I used to get the biggest charge out of watching people get absolutely S-faced and watching them act like complete fools. I mean, just complete idiots.
We used to when we went to the bars too, we would do that slap fest competition amongst ourselves, and the loser had to buy shots.
Like the How I Met Your Mother slap fest?
No, like the TV show, like the slap fest competition.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like whoever knocked the person out of the chair had to buy shots. We were like, we had all this shit invented before it became famous.
I was always the biggest guy. I was always the biggest guy in the room. And the guy that gets drunk, what's the first thing he does? He goes and tries to find the biggest guy in the room and start crap, right? So
I wouldn't. I never did that.
I think it's called beer goggles, but we had this place called Tim's Marina, and it was right on the Mon River. It's in Roscoe, in fact. You know where Roscoe is?
No.
Right on Highway 88, between Bell Vernon and Little California. Anyway, we're at Tim's Marina, and we're throwing darts and all this other kind of stuff. And this one dude, he was there before we got there, and he was still there at closing time when we were closing the place down. He's about 5'6", $180 with a brick in his pocket, right? And I'm just sitting there going, I can already smell trouble coming. We're throwing darts, and this dude come over and he elbows me. All right, here we go. And of course, my buddies are like, oh, crap, here it comes.
Right?
Long story short, he's flapping his gums. I said, dude, why don't you just go out on the patio, calm down. I'll see you in a little while. He goes out on the patio. About 45 minutes later, I had completely forgotten about it. We're back throwing darts and all that. And he starts flapping his gums. Okay. So I go outside. I'm leaning against the rail. Now, behind me is the Mon River. You know how beautifully clean Mon River water is, right?
Oh, it's absolutely the best shit in the world.
Oh yeah, I mean they still make that beer out of a Fort Pitt beer out of Mon River water. Horrible beer, by the way. If you ever get a chance to drink Fort Pitt, don't. Um,
I
but
don't
he's
even
he's
know.
like,
I don't even know they still make it.
it was like
It's like
35
old,
years ago, 30
like
years
old
ago, that
German.
crap was like, yeah, 30 years ago, that stuff was like $4 a case. It
It's
was
like the
insane.
Schlitz, baby.
Oh no! Schlitz was great compared to that crap. But this guy's like, talking all this stuff. I said, look, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you take the first shot. Because my dad always taught me, you never take the first shot. You don't start it, you finish it, right?
Right.
Okay. Old boy cocks back, and I mean, he's acting like he's going to knock me all the way to Philly. Okay. He comes through with that punch, and I move to the right. I took one step to the right. He spins and loses his balance, goes over the rail right into the Mon River. About that time, here come county sheriff. He come walking up on the deck, and the county sheriff knew my dad. He knew me, all that kind of stuff. And he says, "How's it going?" I said, "Going good." Said, "Bartender said there was an issue." I said, "Ain't an issue." The next thing you got the guy in the river trying to keep himself from drowning. He said, "What's going on in there?" I said, "Look for yourself." So, I had fun watching people get schnockered and then act stupid.
I don't know. I don't know. I was a happy-go-lucky guy, drunk. I guess. I don't know. I just like to drink and go home.
Yeah. That was my thing, have a few, go home, I knew of too many mean drunks. I knew too many of them. Couldn't do it.
Now I like Jack still. Is that a problem?
You like what?
Jack is it's my favorite.
Oh, Jack Daniels?
Yeah, it always has, always will be.
I'm okay with it. I'm a Crown guy myself.
I
Jack's
had some
okay.
crown. I
I
had
don't
some
mind it.
Crown Peach over the weekend, straight out of the bottle. But I had some Crown Peach.
Are you a regular Jack guy, or do you like variants? Because like they got I guess the
I have.
vanilla out now, and they got the select out now, and all that kind of stuff. Or are you
I
just an
think
old fashioned Jack number
I
seven guy?
there's a black label out there, and then there's also a gentleman's Jack out there.
Yeah, I've had Gentleman Jack. I don't think I've had the black label.
Well, the regular
Gentleman
Jack,
Jack's okay.
the regular Jack.
You're a regular Jack guy? Yeah.
But I mean, I just know what I also have a bottle of Jameson out there too.
Gotcha. Well, I like Crown regular. Crown Black is phenomenal.
Dude, Crown Black is
But
the shit, dude. Crown Black, I that got introduced to me in Florida, and it is so delicious.
oh, it's fantastic.
I would get into that
But the
story, but I have a kid listening.
the Crown Peach is okay, but it's eh. That Crown Apple is really good.
I have the
Especially, and
blackberry.
I've had the blackberry. It's okay. But
You
that
mix it with
apple,
lemonade?
the blackberry,
Yeah.
I did not. I
Yeah.
drink it straight.
You probably really like it a lot better.
Okay. But yeah, I drink it straight. I'm not a big mixed guy unless it's a margarita. That's about as close. That's about or an Orange Crush. That's kind of where my mixed drink goes. I drink my stuff straight.
I like the mix. I can't do straight anymore.
Yeah, give me 2 fingers and 2 cubes. I'm pretty well square.
Right? Well, we're way off sports topics. Do you know they only sell liquor?
We've kind of made this into a guy talk podcast. You know that.
Kinda. We usually start on point though.
We do, and then it goes.
So they only really they didn't used to serve. I didn't even know they served liquor to the fans in other stadiums until I went to one. Because they don't sell liquor to the fans in Pittsburgh.
Oh
unless
yeah,
unless you're in the club.
At Globe Life, they have the old number 7 club that you can go into.
No,
it's Jack Daniels, old number 7.
Right. But like I didn't know that. And I went away to a game in Atlanta, and I was like, you're telling me I can buy a Jack and Coke right now? And they're like, yeah, what's wrong? I'm like, they don't serve this at home. And there's a good reason for it. We're a drinking town with a football. We're drinking town with a football problem.
Drinking town with a football problem, right? Well, that's like they started serving Yuengling down here. Okay,
good for you.
Some of my friends are just absolutely losing their minds. Have you tried this new beer? What are you talking about? It's this stuff called Yuengling, and I'm just sitting there like this. And I asked them, I said, where am I from? And they're like, Pittsburgh. I'm like, you do understand Yuengling is Pittsburgh beer, right?
It's a Philly beer. It's a Philly beer, ain't it?
It's. I think it came from both. I think it was one of those that came from both.
Oh,
but I'm just like, okay, yeah, I've heard of it. I've had it. It's okay. To me, it's okay. It's nothing. I'd rather drink Rolling Rock. But and it was the same way. Before I started drinking Blue Moon down here, I would just drink Rolling Rock. And everybody's like, what are you drinking that import crap for? Time out. What do you mean import? That stuff comes from overseas. Not unless you're counting the Mississippi River as overseas. They're like, what are you talking about? I said, Round Rock is from Pittsburgh. Read the freaking bottle.
From Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
So then I start winning all kinds of free beers for all the little tricks on the bottle. How many words are on the bottle?
33.
You know that one, right? Yeah, 33. That's why the 33 is there. It's the word count.
So what made you turn to Blue Moon?
I ended up being in radio. I get all kind of stuff.
Samples.
Right? Yeah, so we're at a show, something, and my Miller Coors distributor came over. This was 15 years ago. He comes over, he says, hey, Rich, I want you to try something. We just got these in. I said, okay. So he gives me a bottle of Blue Moon. He said, no, normally the best way to have this is draft with an orange on it. I said, okay. He said, but I want you to try this. So I tried it in the bottle. Loved it. Right out of the chute. Loved it. And that's been my thing. If it's not that, like the one restaurant that Mary and I go to, they don't have it, so I drink Dos Equis. But yeah, Blue Moon, that's how I got started on it. My distributor for Miller Coors had me try it, and I was like, dude, this stuff's spectacular.
Yeah, I know we got the Leinenkugels, but the the Samuel Adams Porch Rockers, those are better than the Leinenkugels. The Summer Shandies.
Porch Rockers?
Yes, it's just like the Summer Shandy. It's a special. It's only out in spring.
Right.
But let me tell you something. I think that is the best. Not the summer ale. This is like their springtime
Yeah.
beer, and I think it is better than the Leinenkugel.
Wow. See, I like Sam Adams. I'll
Well,
drink Sam Adams.
you need to find because it's going to be out soon,
Okay.
and
I
it's
will.
only
I
out.
mean,
Make sure it
I
says
like
Porch Rock.
straight.
Make sure it says
Okay.
Porch Rockers on it.
Yeah, because I like straight Sam Adams. I like the summer shanty. I like, I the winter one that they do and all that kind of stuff.
What about the berry
I haven't tried
Leinenkugel?
that one though.
Did you try
The what?
the berry Leinenkugel?
I did. I liked it.
It's a Christmas one. I think that was good.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's
Yeah.
the Samuel Adams Boston Lager, the Porch Rockers. I have the box
Yeah.
sitting there. Let me go grab that box real quick.
Okay. Yeah, because I got a buddy that drinks nothing but Sam Adams. Welcome to Beer Talk. We've kind of turned this from Pirates Talk to Beer Talk. I'm your host, Drafty. But hey, it's fun. Sam, okay, the blue box. All right.
Richard.
Okay. I will check that out. Do they do it on draft? Okay. Nice. That looks really good. I am definitely more a draft guy than a bottle guy.
Oh man. So yeah, that's what they are.
Yeah, man, that looks good. Do they do it on draft?
No, not that I've seen.
I'm definitely more of a draft beer guy than a bottle beer guy. But when I'm at home, obviously I can't have draft. But yeah.
But there you go, Rich. Make sure you make a mental note of that or write it down. Especially if you got a
Definitely
buddy
breaking
over.
YouTube's community guidelines. Well, guess what?
For what? Showing beer? I don't know. I didn't know we weren't allowed to show beer. We're not drinking it. Anyway.
Drinking on the air. Done that before.
What, drank on the air?
On the air. Oh yeah. We used to do when I was in Illinois.
Oh, you're referring to my shirt because it says community standards.
But
I think that's why this shirt was made, actually.
When I was in Illinois, we used to get we used to do a show called after every Peoria Chiefs home game at this bar. I'll think of the name of it in a second. Kelleher's in Peoria. Shout out to Kelleher's in Peoria. The best shepherd's pie I ever had in my life. Period. End of discussion. But we would go down there and do the show, and Mr. Kelleher would always he'd have wings there for us. He'd have shepherd's pie for us, and he had 2 old styles sitting there for us. And yeah, we'd be doing the show and we'd be eating and drinking on the air. We obviously didn't go crazy with it. We'd have 1 or 2 while we were doing the show, but yeah, we'd be eating wings and sucking down shepherd's pie and drinking old style while we were doing a baseball show. Can't beat that, man.
Now, how does that work? Because usually you're not allowed to drink on the job, but if the owner's giving you drinks to do the show on the job, are you allowed? I don't.
Every boss I have ever had has said, as long as you don't get stupid, I don't care. Okay. Especially if they're giving it to you, because I don't want you to insult them by not taking it. First time I ever had again.
That was my question. Like, what? Okay, so no, don't insult
First
me.
time I ever had a Guinness was in that same bar. I hate Guinness. With every fiber of my being, I cannot drink Guinness. So I'm trying
I
to
have to.
choke this thing down, right? I get about halfway through it. It's the first Guinness I've ever had. Doc, the guy that I did the show with, he says, I'll be right back. We were in a commercial break. He comes back with a shot. What the heck am I supposed to do with that?
Car bomb,
He
baby.
says, yep. He said, drop it in there, slam it. It'll be over. You won't have to mess with it. Okay. Plop, blam. I mean, hey, I know how to do flaming Dr. Pepper better than anybody else around. I'm familiar with the dropping the shot and doing this, right? We do it. Boom. I kill it. I had an old style right behind it. I drank half of an old style behind it to get rid of the Guinness taste. But it worked.
You really have to. You really have to get into the Guinness taste.
I'm just not a dark beer guy.
And I tried to drink one on St. Patty's Day because of the Irish in me. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not big on the whole green beer thing. I think that's weird.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a
But
guy
it's a
here in
seller. It's a
Waco.
seller. It's a seller on that day.
It is, but there's a guy here in Waco that he does nothing but microbrews. He's an old friend of mine, and he gets everything. I mean, the IPAs, the pilsners, the blondes, the stouts, the whole shooting match, right? And every time he gets a new stout, and he'll put that much in a glass. Here, try this. I've probably tried 50 dark beers, and there ain't a one of them that I would drink a full one of. There's just something about it that
It's
that
that
makes me
amber.
go,
It's that amber dark. It's that amber dark that it fills me up too quick. I don't know. I don't know.
I
There's
don't know.
something. I completely agree with you, though. I know where you're going with that.
Yeah, I mean, give me a pilsner or an IPA, and I'm good.
Right? Pretty soon, we're going to start doing shots on the show, Rich, and make things interesting.
That could yeah.
Well, I know
Right on the air.
I know if we do a show with Brandon or Chase, I'm sorry, he'll put down 3 to 4 on our shows, no problem. Now he's
Okay.
in Milwaukee. He's in Milwaukee, big Uke guy. He's a
We
little
could
bit of a
go
mess
full
over all
blown.
this.
We
He's a
go
little
full
bit of a
blown
mess.
Stone Cold, full blown Stone Cold podcast, and just take the shots as we go. And you ever seen Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast?
I have. He doesn't do it with all of them.
He'll go through half a bottle of Jack with the guy, especially when he was on there with the Undertaker. He had the Undertaker as his guest. They went through like 3/4 of the bottle of Jack.
I like it.
Yeah. So, man, it's about that time.
I get that. Yes, it is. 1:30, 1 hour and a half show. Good stuff. We learned some drinking today. We learned some new beers. I'll let you know. I think we need to go to the beer distributor tomorrow. So if we do, I'm gonna buy a couple cases. That's what I do. I've
Gotcha.
literally had this for almost 2 years.
Well, I'm gonna get with my guy here at the distributor and see if he's got it and see what he says.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's better than Lanakuba, but that's just me.
I'll give it a shot. I mean, I'll try any of it. I've tried
Right.
some really bad beer. I've tried some really good beer. But
Who
I'll
knows?
give any of it a shot.
The wife might like it too.
She's not a beer person.
This doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't taste like a beer though.
She don't drink beer. No way. Mixed, yes. She likes margaritas, that kind of thing. Yes, she's all for pina colada, a daiquiri occasionally.
Now, does
She's
she do
all in on that.
Does she do the whipped vodka, the Pinnacle?
I think
Like
that's one of the things that
mix it with root beer
my
float, like root beer.
Mary and my sister-in-law got this peanut butter whiskey.
Oh my gosh, yes. Did you do a
It was in
shot?
like a Yeah, it didn't do anything for me.
You didn't like
But
it?
it had like a beige label to it. It looked like a Nob Hill label, but I don't remember exactly what kind it was or anything like that. It was okay. I didn't get any peanut butter taste out of it. I know that. They're like, "Oh, it's so good. It tastes like peanut." Oh, okay. There was no bit of that that tasted like Jif, but okay. Whatever turns you guys on, you know. Uh, so,
Well, now you're
but
now you're
anyways,
now you're killing me here.
yeah.
I gotta look it up. I forget the name of it. Screwball.
That's what it was. Screwball, yeah. And they loved it. And I mean, I was like, okay, great. I had my bottle of Crown. Me and a couple of the other guys, we shot pool and drank Crown. I was like, okay. And let all the girls drink that Screwball. Fireball Fudge.
What the hell is that? I'm looking at
My
it right
wife,
now. I never even heard of this one. Let you get to your story in a second. Full
yeah,
bore peanut butter jalapeno whiskey. 114 a bottle. Yeah. Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah.
peanut butter jalapeno whiskey.
Yeah, it doesn't even
No
sound
thanks.
good. Doesn't
No
even
thanks.
sound good.
Mm-mm. My wife made Fireball Fudge one night.
How'd that turn out?
White chocolate and Fireball. It was fantastic. It was really good. She swirled the Fireball in with the white chocolate for the fudge.
So did it turn
Turned
it
out
pink?
great.
Did it turn it an orange white chocolate?
No, the swirl stayed red.
Really?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. It turned out really good. And man, I would do that
Nice.
again. But
Sounds good.
so but yeah, man, it's about that time.
Yes, sir. Rich, how people get you, boss?
At Go Big Go Home Pod on Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it this week. Facebook is just my name, Rich Richardson. Mondays here, 7 Eastern, 6 Central. It's Two Tire Change, the NASCAR program here on Driving to the Top Productions. We cover last week's race. We'll preview next week's race. And you never know what guest is going to be popping on. I got a couple of people lined up for the next several weeks that I think you'll very, very much enjoy. So, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, every Monday, right here. Every Wednesday, we do this thing, Adam and I do, and we start out with Pittsburgh sports. We always do. And then it ends up going all over the place. So, we kid about God knows where it's going to end up, and it's really true. But you can catch me there, and then
Every once
Tuesday
in a
open
while
mic
on
night here on
Tuesday.
Driving to the Top.
Every once in a
Yeah,
while on
I got
Tuesday we catch you.
I got to get back to doing that more often.
Oh, you're good.
So
Um, yeah, Josh might join you on Monday. Who knows? I don't know who your guest is. You didn't tell me. You didn't fill me in on that one yet. Um,
I don't have one for this Monday.
oh, there you go, Josh. You want to jump in? Jump in. Need to get him cable though, because he has trouble watching the races. Anyway, you can get me on Driving to the Top Productions on YouTube. Leave your comments over there. Hit the like, subscribe, notification button. Turn them all on. At Sports Talking It on Twitter. You can also get me at Driving to the Top Productions on Twitter as well. I tried sharing this on my Facebook tonight, Rich. I don't know if it went through. I did look at Facebook, but I didn't see any notification from you. So I don't think it worked like it does for Twitter. So say hi to my daughter, Kaylin. How are you? Josh, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for leaving comments. And of course, everybody have a good evening.
Night.
Thanks for tuning in.